Good
All
afternoon,
right.
everybody. I know you can't see me, but you can hear me. It's Brian O'Farrell here. I'm CEO of the County Carlow Chamber. So I'm delighted to welcome you all to this afternoon's webinar on trading online. So this is the first of our series. We've got another range of webinars that will be coming out. So we've one on this next Thursday, and then next week we have a few. So I'm delighted to introduce Gary Evans from YourWeb, who's going to take us through online trading. And we've also got Pauline Hochter from the Carlow Local Enterprise office. And Pauline will discuss some of the supports available as well with Gary in a wee while. So how the webinar will work, so I know your mics are all muted. So if you've got any questions, and that there, if you go along the bottom of the screen, there's the chat box. You can just open that up and you can pop in questions to that as you go along, and we'll be able to respond to them, or just general communications if you want to comment on something or make any points. Please do feel free to into the chat box, and enjoy this afternoon's webinar. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brian. So, as Brian mentioned, I'm Gary. I'm the CEO for YourWeb. We're a digital agency based in Carlow on O'Brien Road. And what I want to talk to you today about is online trading. So, how you can take your offline business online, and some of the methods that we use with customers today to make that happen. So, without further ado, this is a breakdown of what we're going to cover. So 4 points really. Why? So why go online at all? Why do you need to go online? Number 2, I want to cover is what. What do you need to do as a business to get online? And number 3, then where do you begin? So if you have a business that's currently offline, how do you move that to online and start generating revenue via e-commerce? And then, as Brian mentioned, point 4 there, Pauline Hochter from the Local Enterprise office in Carlow is going to talk about some of the great supports that are available right now to help your business to move online. So first up, let's talk about the why. So why go online at all? I mean, what's the reason behind it? I wanted to give you an idea of first of all, of the size of the market in Ireland. So the e-commerce business in Ireland, these stats are from statistics, they're public available stats. So of January 2020, the e-commerce market in Ireland was worth 2.74 billion per annum. So that's just the Irish market, and that's how big it is. If we look at how many people in terms of user penetration, there's just 73.5% of people in Ireland actually have transacted over the last 12 months via some form of e-commerce online. And that's grown at an annual rate of about 8.7%. So to put that into perspective, there'll be 4 million users utilizing e-commerce in some way, shape or form by 2024 just in Ireland. And to show how that's changed things, 41% of the transactions that are now done online are via some sort of e-wallet, be it Stripe, PayPal, Elevon integration, etc. So lots of things have changed, lots more businesses moving online, and especially at the moment, there's a lot of business to be done online. If we look on the right, then that's just a pie graph just to give you an idea of the different markets. So fashion, obviously being the biggest market, accounts for just shy of 800 million euros a year. And then we go electronics and media's just over 700, and so on and so forth down through the different sectors. So what does that mean to your business? Well, where we are at the moment in the environment, if you have a traditional high street store or business, unless you're providing essential services, the doors of that business are closed. And if it's a physical shop that sells products, the reality is your business has stopped running unless you have some sort of online shop. So we want to talk about that in a little bit more detail in a couple of minutes. That's one example of one market that we work with. Another example, I mean, you've probably all seen or heard Joe Wicks. I know in the mornings here, the kids are jumping around the sitting room like lunatics doing the online fitness stuff because you can't go out or can't go very far. But any gym, health and wellness, Pilates classes, etc., they're all currently closed because current guidelines dictate they're not allowed to work with the public. But businesses have pivoted and now they're delivering those services online. Joe Wicks being one example. Another example, which is closer to home, my daughter Laura goes to gymnastics classes in Carlow a couple of times a week, and that business is obviously closed. And there's 100 odd kids that go twice a week currently can't go. So what the instructors have done is they've moved that business online, and they're now delivering those training classes via Zoom twice a week. So the kids log into Zoom, set up somewhere, put the laptop or the iPad down, and they continue on with their class as close to normal as can be given the current environment. Personal trainers, health and wellness people that we're currently working with are doing one-to-one via Zoom or GoToMeeting or something like that, private meetings. That's a paid exercise, and they're delivering classes and instruction that way, be it health and wellness, weight loss, fitness training, etc. So that business is continuing to work, but it's all happening online. The next example then, if you work in an office environment, consulting business where normally you would transact face-to-face with customers. I mean, as an Irish company, we're very fond of shaking hands with people and going meeting them, having a cup of coffee and talking through it that way and doing business deals that way. That's all changed for the moment. Business offices are closed, but businesses are still running. They're just delivering their services via Zoom or some other online media platform. So that's continuing to happen. So businesses haven't closed down, they've just adapted on how they work. And that's really important. And the point I'm trying to make here is people are still online working. So you want to make sure you're at least keeping in touch with your customers. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that, but stay on top of your mind with your customers. They mightn't have a need at the moment, but they may in the future. And if you've been in touch with them, they're more likely to call you, because you can be guaranteed that your competition are talking to them, because companies are still marketing every day, they're still targeting people, they're still trying to generate revenue. So if you're not online, well, you're completely missing out on all of that. So that's what we want to try and change today. So let's now move on to the what. So what do you need to do as a business to move online? There's multiple different channels, and we're going to just cover off on 4 of them here at a high level. And then we're going to break them down into a little bit more detail and go into how you can utilize each one for your business. So the first thing you need to do is you need to find your ideal platform. So the platform being how you communicate with your customers, how you transact, how you can sell products and services. Because you can't go out and meet people at the moment, your office is closed, you need to find alternatives to do that. So the first and most obvious one would be a website. And that's a website with built-in e-commerce and a payment gateway. The next option then is via social media, so you can sell products and services directly through one of the platforms. The next option we're going to talk about is email. So email marketing is still alive and strong. And the final one then we want to talk about is traditional telesales. Pick up the phone and ring people and actually talk to them and find out what's going on. So for the first one, I'll give you an example of one of our customers. They're a roastery based in Wicklow. It's a WordPress website. They have e-commerce, and they have payment gateway, so it's all secure. It's all paid up front, but if it's a digital product or a consulting service, it's the same mechanism. It's paid up front, you just deliver it differently. The next thing we're then going to talk about is social media. So how do you utilize your social media to actually engage with your customers, advertising, payment processing, and then delivery of services. The next thing we will talk about is email marketing. So how to create campaigns, how to follow up, how to then process payments, and then getting testimonials and comments, etc. So you can refine your service to suit the market. And the final one then we'll go through is the phone. So what you can do to generate revenues today, where your competition are currently doing it, you need to make sure you can tap into that market. So that's just an overview of 4 different methods. And what we'll do now is we'll actually break each one of those down and show you in a bit more detail how to do it. So where to begin? So what do you need to get moving? First up, we'll look at McCabe's. They're an artisan roastery in Wicklow. They would deliver coffee. Traditionally, they would roast it in the roastery in Wicklow, stick it in the van, and they will deliver it to companies across Ireland and the UK. A lot of those companies are currently closed. They're lucky in the sense that they have an e-commerce platform already. It's just built into their website. And if you run WordPress as a website, it's literally just a free plugin called WooCommerce that you install, configure on your site, and you start adding products or services to that. The next thing you need is some form of payment. So it's really important at the moment that you can take payments from people securely. So for pretty much 100% of the online businesses that we deal with, we'll use something like PayPal or Stripe because it's secure cloud-based payment processing. You're not taking credit cards directly on your own website, so you don't need to worry about PCI compliance and all that other technical stuff. You're using a cloud-based service which is secure. Yes, you do pay a small percentage fee for that, but the cost of that is far cheaper than having to implement full PCI compliance through your business so you can process card details and hold them on record. And the final thing then you need to look at in terms of a shop, if it's consultancy or anything like that, which is a digital asset, you don't need to worry about shipping. But in this instance, they have physical products where they ship out bags of coffee beans to somebody. They use the likes of DPD and An Post. But if you're another business that does potentially supply essential services to customers, and once you stay within the guidelines, you'll find whatever way possible to deliver that product to a customer. And that might be a case of once you're wearing the correct PPE, etc., stick it in your car and off you go. But again, at the moment it's very important to follow all the guidelines that are out there to make sure that you're doing it the way you should be doing it. Okay? The next point then I want to talk about is social media. So if you look at, we just pick Facebook, the Facebook platform as one example. Facebook gives you the ability to set up a business page. You can add a shop to that business page. So this is outside your website, but it's still giving you the ability to sell products and services to your customers via digital. So we've had a lot of questions in from customers about, well, how do I do this? So we went ahead and we got some training courses put together. We published them online. There's a link there. They're free, so anybody can go in, sign up. There's no charge. There's no commitment required. To go in, have a look through the course. It gives you a step-by-step on how to set up a business page on your Facebook account, add products and services to it. Now, those products could be, you might have a shop, like a clothes shop. You can add dresses and jeans and t-shirts, etc. All those products directly to Facebook, but you can also add vouchers and things like that. So whereas somebody mightn't buy something from you today, but they can't go into your shop, people are buying stuff online all day, every day. Amazon are absolutely flying at the moment. But if you have the right product or right service, and then you use something like Facebook targeted advertising, you can get that product in front of the right person at the right time. And the reality in this environment is a lot of people are trying to focus on working locally, so working with local businesses and doing deals locally. So if your price is competitive enough and your product is good enough, there's no reason why somebody won't buy it from you as opposed to going to one of the big Amazons, etc. When it comes to advertising, Facebook itself probably has the best audience targeting system there is because of the amount of data they have. You can build a custom audience and say, right, I only want to target girls between 25 to 45 who are interested in X, Y, and Z, or who have shown an interest in this particular brand. And you build a custom audience and just target those as part of your advertising campaign. So it keeps the cost of that campaign down, but you're also targeting the right people. And that works for any business, regardless of the industry you're in. You could target the right audience. The reality is everybody's on Facebook, even if they say they're not. If you put an ad in front of somebody at the right time with a good enough offer, you'll convince them to click through and away you go. The one thing you need to then do is sort out the payment processing. So even without a website, you can use the likes of Stripe or PayPal. You can log directly in there, generate an invoice to the customer, send it out via email. As soon as they pay the invoice, you will get a notification back, payment processing complete. and then you deliver that service or that product or whatever to that customer. But in this instance, you've been paid up front for that, which at the moment, that the reality is, as a business, you're trying to bring in revenue for your own business. So the more payments you can get in advance of delivering a product or service, the better it is for your business, and the more it will allow you to continue to deliver a quality service out to your customers. The last thing then to touch on there is to follow up. So don't be afraid to ask for testimonials or ask people what they thought of the service or the process you went through. Because the more you can find out and the more you can streamline that process, the easier it will be to make it easier for the next person. So if there was a glitch somewhere along the way, if you know about it, you can fix that problem before you talk to somebody else and make sure it doesn't happen again. The next point then, just a bit more detail on using email. So email marketing has been around forever, and it's still very effective if you use the right strategies. So as a business, we've multiple different lists that we've gathered up over time for various different campaigns. If appropriate and you're following the GDPR guidelines, there's no reason why you can't utilize that list at the moment and market directly to them for a product or service. We use MailChimp. MailChimp is an online service. It's free for up to 2,000 email addresses. So if you have a list of customers and you have them in a database somewhere, just extract out the email addresses, drop them into MailChimp, and then you can create a campaign with pictures and graphics and bullet points and call to actions straight from within the platform and send them out to that list. And that's free. I say it's free for up to 2,000 accounts. And then it goes from $15 per month after that once you outgrow that size. If you're a consulting business, we use a tool a lot called Calendly, which is a free online scheduling tool. The reason we talk about this is because, especially at the moment, a lot of people are obviously at home. There's kids at home. Everybody's running around the place a little bit mad. So it's very hard to schedule to get somebody's attention and somebody's time at the moment. But if you can send them a link to a calendar and say, right, Gary is available from Monday to Friday, 9 to 12, 2 to 5, or 2 to 7, or whatever, then they can just click on the link, find a time that's appropriate to them where they can step away for half an hour somewhere quiet, and they can actually jump on a webinar, let them book the time there. If it's a payable exercise, in advance, send them an invoice via PayPal or Stripe. And once the payment comes through, then you go ahead with the meeting. And that can be, again, anything from consulting exercise. If you're an accountant or somebody like that and you want to go through somebody's books or accounts, that's a perfect mechanism to deliver that process. But you're letting them schedule it on a time that suits them, as opposed to you trying to force a time on them that won't suit. So make it as easy as possible for them to make the decision. And again, follow up. So talk to the customer, say, how did that go? What did you feel about that? What could I change to make it better, etc., and apply that to the next time. And then the last one, which is the phone. So people forget to ring their customers. Ring them up, see how they're getting on. You mightn't have a product or service right now, but if you talk to your customers, find out the challenges they're having, you might be able to adapt one of your products or services to suit that need, or maybe point them in the direction of another local company to say, well, if you talk to such and such, they'll be able to help you with that. If it's a case where they want to have further conversation, again, use Calendly. Let them schedule a time that suits them. And again, if it's a payable exercise, use Stripe and PayPal. Delivery for that particular service, use Zoom, which we're on now, or GoToMeeting or something similar. Just so you can't sit down and have a cup of coffee and shake hands, but the quality of Zoom, etc., is that good now. It's as close to being in the room with them, and there's no reason why, once it's secure and safe, you can't transact business as close to normal as possible. So look, there's 4 different options, very high level, but everything is doable, and it's just a matter of finding the right strategy to suit your business, which we're happy to talk about in more detail offline, and see where we can find the gaps and penetrate the market for you. So next up, I want to let Pauline come on from the local enterprise and talk about some of the the really cool grants that are available at the moment. So I'll just unmute Pauline. You there, Pauline? I don't know. You there, Pauline?
Yeah, hi Gary.
How are you getting on?
Good. I hope you're all well.
Yeah, good, yeah. Sun is shining.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, which is good. It helps at least. Gary, I assume I have control. Have I control of the screen? Or are you going to click through for me?
You just say
okay.
Click and I'll
yeah.
click the 3 slides there, yeah?
Yeah, perfect, Grant. So, hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Pauline Hafter, and I work with the local enterprise office in Carlow. And Brian and Gary asked me to pop onto the webinar today just to have a chat with you about some of the supports that are available through the local enterprise office. Specifically, I suppose, in relation to trading online, that would be the trading online voucher. And then I'll just give a quick mention to some of the other supports that are available. So some of you may have already availed of the trading online voucher. It's a scheme that has been in place since about 2014, 2015. And but as of the 7th of April, the department have decided to, instead of it be at a grant rate of 50% up to a max of 2,500, it's now at a grant rate of 90% up to a max of 2,500 of eligible expenditure. The purpose of the trading online voucher is effectively, it's a financial incentive to small businesses to enhance and develop your ability to trade online. So you may already, for example, have a brochure website, and now because of COVID and your contingency plan and your response to it, you may decide now that you want to be able to actually take payments or have bookings or do different things like that through the website. So as I said, it's a grant of 50%, or sorry, 90%, I should say, up to a max of 2,500, exclusive of VAT. But that doesn't mean you have to go and spend 3 or 4 or 5,000. We've had grants of as small as anywhere from 500 to 700, where people have just wanted to do a specific activity, and they may have invested maybe 1,500 and drew that 50% back. So what happens is there is obviously eligibility criteria, as with all of these schemes, and I suppose the main ones to consider is that, is your business eligible for this? And obviously, again, I can talk to you offline, or you can contact our office for further information in relation to this. But I suppose one thing I just wanted to make you aware of was the trading online voucher is specifically aimed at those who have limited or no e-commerce presence at this time, that they have 10 or less employees, that's full-time equivalents, turnover of less than 2 million in the year, and they must be able to demonstrate that they have been trading for at least 6 months prior to application. And also, for example, like this, the voucher is I suppose assessed, and your eligibility is assessed, and if approved, the approval letter comes out from your local Leo. So for example, if some of you on the on the webinar today are located maybe in Laois or in Kildare, you just need to contact our colleagues in those offices, and they obviously will support you through the process as well. I suppose another thing to make you aware of, as a result of the changes to the scheme, so as I said, it's now at 90% with a match fund of 10% from your business instead of the 50%. Up until the 7th of April, businesses that had previously availed of a trading online voucher were not permitted to apply for a second time. But now, under the current scheme, you can actually apply for a second TOV for e-commerce systems upgrades and a couple of other eligible items. So that's good to know as well. I suppose another thing to consider is that I suppose digital marketing, and Gary has just spoken about it there, is a very important aspect of getting people to actually click through to your website and entice them to come on and buy your products or services. So digital marketing can be included as part of the voucher costs, but it can not make up more than 30% of the value of the grant that you draw down. Okay. So there are just a couple of details around the I suppose the percentages and the intricacies of the grant. One thing that we do ask businesses that are interested in applying for the voucher to do is that they attend an information seminar where we go through in finer detail what's involved in the application process. And we actually have a seminar on the Trading Online Voucher this Thursday at 12 noon. So I'm assuming that these slides, Gary, will be, I suppose, circulated to everyone who's on the webinar. So if you click on the link on the slide deck there, or copy and paste into your browser, that will bring you into our online bookings page and allow you to sign up for that seminar on Thursday at 12. So that's one of the criteria ticked. Then if you actually attend that seminar, that's one of the criteria. One of the main questions that we get asked for or asked about the voucher is what can it be used for? So it can be used for quite a substantial list of things, but of course they're all related to e-commerce activity. So obviously the whole area of IT consultation, development or upgrade of an e-commerce website. That's a question I would get asked often, is, well, we actually have a current e-commerce presence, but we need to do X, Y, and Z, or we need to invest in more up-to-date software, or whatever it might be. But because you have an existing e-commerce website doesn't preclude you from applying for the Trading Online Voucher. Implementing online payments or booking systems, and Gary talked about some of those earlier. Purchase of internet-related software, development of an app or multi-platform web pages, implementation of an actual digital marketing strategy, training and skills development to establish and manage an online trading activity. So it's all well and good having been web enabled and being, I suppose, having an e-commerce presence, but I would assume in most cases people would need, in some instances, to get some training as to how they work the back end of that site, and that can be included as part of the costs. And then we can also look at things like certain subscriptions and purchase, as I said, of digital marketing to an extent, and also things like photography and videography. So I suppose that's what can be included and what it can be used for, and I've talked about the eligibility criteria as well. The one thing I just do want to mention is that for those of you who have 10 or more employees, obviously you wouldn't be eligible for the scheme, the TOV scheme through the Leo, but Enterprise Ireland on Monday announced basically an EI COVID-19 online retail scheme. And if you go onto the Enterprise Ireland website and search a COVID-19 online retail scheme, they have a very similar offering, but it's at it's of a much larger scale. There's grants of up to 40,000 available for businesses in that space. And I suppose just pop onto the EI website and click in on the link, and the application process is outlined on that website.
You still there, Pauline?
They have a limited Hello, Gary.
Yeah, I can hear you there. Sorry, you dropped out for a sec.
Okay. Did you hear the piece about the Enterprise Ireland support for businesses with more than 10 employees?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to pop onto the EI website, and I'll actually send Brian over and yourself, Gary, over the link to that website, so that businesses who are within that space can take a look at that and see if it's suitable for their business. We might just move on to the final slide there. So Gary, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I suppose before I talk about how to get in touch, etc., I might just talk to you really quickly if I have time. Is that okay, Gary?
Oh yeah, work away, yeah.
Yeah, about some of the other supports that are available through the Leo. So we have a number of online training programs that are ongoing at the moment, and we have more coming on stream in the coming weeks, and the feedback on them has been really good. And we are also looking at rolling out, no more than Brian in the chamber, a further suite of training in response to COVID as things change and evolve, and we'll be doing that regionally going forward. The other thing that we offer is, I suppose, we have mentoring available. So we have mentors available in the areas of finance, in HR, marketing, digital strategy, all those various facets of business. And those mentoring sessions are free of charge to businesses located in County Carlow. To avail of that, you just contact myself or the office, and we can talk you through the application procedure and what happens there. I suppose one of the supports that has gotten great traction over the last couple of weeks, along with the trading online voucher, is what's called the business continuity voucher. And that is for businesses that employ up to 50 people. And it's a voucher worth up to 2,500 inclusive VAT of third-party consultancy costs. And the whole aim of the voucher is actually to help your business make informed decisions about what immediate measures and remedial actions should be taken in relation to COVID. And it covers, you know, areas from, I suppose, financial health and continuity planning to looking at how you implement remote working practices, looks at the area of HR and managing employees remotely, or managing layoff or redundancies, those various types of things. So if you just go online to our website and take a look at the business continuity voucher application form, it's only about 2 or 3 pages in length. It's very easy to fill out, and you send it through to us via email, and we are reviewing those on a basically every couple of days, and appointing consultants where appropriate. I've spoken about the trading online voucher, and just in summary, just to say, I suppose the main supports that are available through the Leo at the moment really are our online training and webinars, our mentoring in various facets of business, the business continuity voucher for the third-party consultancy costs, and then the trading online voucher. And lastly, just to say that there, I suppose, are a number of other supports available from other agencies. So for example, the Microfinance Ireland loan, and supports obviously that are available through revenue, etc. And if you need any more information or signposting on those, just get in touch with ourselves or the chamber. So has anyone any questions?
Anybody?
I suppose just to say that I shared the application form for the trading online voucher with Brian there earlier, so I've asked him to circulate it to those that are registered for the webinar today. But all the application forms and information are available on our website, localenterprise.ie/Carlow.
Brilliant.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Pauline.
Thank you, Gary. Take care.
No bother. So just, I suppose, to wrap it up, just a summary. Look, the market at the moment is worth just shy of €3 billion. In terms of e-commerce, people are still buying. Amazon, the UK and in the US are recording record profits and record numbers. So they're customers that you would normally deal with, that walk through the front door of your shop or business, that are now looking for alternatives, and they're still buying online. There's millions of different options available, so you don't have any excuses. So it's a case of just, if you can, just go and do it. And that's it. I'll hand it back to you, Brian.
Thank you very much, Gary, and thank you very much as well to Pauline. Give a great insight into the range of supports available. Thanks to everybody who logged in to join us this afternoon for the Training Online webinar. As we said earlier on, the webinar, the details, it will be available on our website. Later on, we'll have it up there shortly. If you do have any queries or questions in relation to anything that was covered this evening, please don't hesitate to give me a shout. You can reach me directly on ceo@carlowchamber.com. And we look forward to seeing you at some of the upcoming webinars. On this Thursday, we've got John Madigan joining us from the Strategic Banking Corporation of Ireland to discuss COVID-19 supports for SMEs. Tuesday next, the 28th of April, we've got Kirsty Kavanagh of Kavanagh & Co Solicitors to discuss HR matters arising from COVID-19, followed by Sergeant Peter McCon on Wednesday at 2 o'clock to discuss keeping your business safe through COVID-19. He's from the Carlow Kilkenny division of Garda Síochána. And then on Thursday next week, we've also got the team at Business IT Solutions who will discuss remote working solutions and what ones will work best for you. So for us in the County Carlow Chamber, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. Thank you to Gary, thank you to Pauline, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thanks, guys.